Dr. Michael McMorrow coming to you from the sanctuary of the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills, California. We're located in the North San Fernando Valley. We are a faith community who welcomes all who practice their beliefs and faith and love. Delighted to have you with us here this evening for our Get Real and Heal. Actually, Let's Get Real and Heal meditation service. So we'll have a little poetry reading and then a little meditation action and a little healing spiritual mind treatment at the end, and it takes about an hour. And so I'm delighted that you're here joining us, and I think you will find it time well spent. So if you're on the chat and you want to say hello to each other, please do that. And while I'm at it, there is an online community that meets after the 10:30 service. So if you're looking to connect with like-minded folks, just go to our website and you will find ways to do that. So let's welcome up our presider for the evening. So please help me welcome Beverly Scott. So it's great to have you with us here this evening, those of you in the house and online. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath and release. And on that release, we're just releasing all the hustle and bustle, the cares, concerns of the day. And let's just claim this time for ourselves as our own, as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. That fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this evening. So as Beverly lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, a way of primal spirituality. The third candle we light for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. The fourth candle we light for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here in our sanctuary, within our online community, and of course within our own hearts. And as Beverly lights the healing candle now, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
I'm trust in God. I surrender, I surrender. I'm one with the Spirit all around me. I surrender, I surrender. I trust in God.
Let's take this time to turn within. Close your eyes or just lower them. Knowing there is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. I am that perfect life of God now. I know and declare that perfect life is available to all beings. Spirit is so available right here and now in the sanctuary and online as we go in and give thanks for this time that we're about to enter the meditation hour. Think on just how good and great life is. My realization is that life is for me and for all beings. I accept this as the spiritual truth. And I carry my cross each day, lifting myself up to be the light. We all are lights. We all walk in the light, expressing perfection. We are the children of Spirit. And I'm deeply grateful and thankful for this truth. I speak a word, a blessing for our spiritual director as he leads us tonight in our meditation. I offer up thanks for Renzen with his knowledge and his time that he gives us. And I speak a word for myself as I stand before you and bring forth my energy, love, peace, and harmony is what I know to be true. And I release this word into the activity of law, knowing without a shadow of a doubt that my words are instant, complete, and manifest. So be it, and so it is. Amen. Oh, sometimes I get caught up, but that's all good. And I hope that energy flows and you as well become caught up. This evening, I have to brag a little. I made a wise choice. I got involved with the 4T Prosperity Program, and I am on fire. And when I say I'm on fire, you know, we often think it's all finance. Yes, we do need to do that part, but it's our time. The gifts God's given us, the talents that we have. Whew, it's a good thing. So I'm going to take up a little of your time and share with you my thoughts on sacred giving. Sacred giving, the spiritual practice of sacred giving begins with the recognition that it is part of my nature to not only receive, but to give. This is true for all beings. My inner life deepens when I make a conscious effort to plan to give. And I experience the great satisfaction of being part of the flow of life. I step into the use of my money as a spiritual practice. And I like that. Before, I didn't look at it in that way. But my consciousness has risen so, and Spirit has always come through for me to that is what it is. Money is, my money is a spiritual practice. The money I have, the money I earn, the money I give is a demonstration of my divine presence here and now. God is spirit. Spirit is substance, and substance is supply. I believe that. I embody that. Spirit cannot lack for anything that makes life worthwhile here on earth. I am one with Spirit. Therefore, there's no lack. There's no limitation. We are one with Spirit. And the same holds true. The way to happiness lies in consciously choosing to be part of the divine flow of life. This includes being willing to share my life, my time, my talents, and my money with others. Because in truth, it's not mine. It is divine. It is only passing through me as part of the infinite life's outpouring. It's so good to know that. I sleep so much better since I've surrendered to Spirit. I acknowledge the spiritual practice of tithing 10% of my wealth to all that inspire me and feeds my soul. As I live in the truth that I am the source of giving, I will create a new level of expansion in my receiving. I believe that. It's been demonstrated and manifested. I know this is the law of giving and receiving, the law of circulation in my life. And I desire this to be true for each and every one. Here's my voice this evening. My affirmation, and this is from my 4T prosperity class. I say this often through the day. I release undesirable distractions from my thoughts. I am open and receptive to God's living truth, God's living spirit of truth. Forgive me. I am prosperous. This idea is mine. I claim this idea. We are prosperous. Eric Butterworth, Spiritual Economics. Prosperity is a way of living and thinking, and not just money. and things. Let's meditate on that tonight. Thank you. I do have a few announcements that I'd like to share. As always, a practitioner is available at CSLGH.org. We're available at any time to talk or pray with you. Please reach out. Youth Church is back, first and third Sunday. Reverend Nicole is the facilitator. Fellowship, 11:45. Reverend Jessica Fish. On Sunday, April 2nd, following the service, we will have an Easter egg hunt. So please, if you can make your way out to Granada Hills, we'd love to see you. Sunday, April 9th, immediately after church, we're planning an Easter brunch potluck, and all are welcome. Saturday, April 15th, LA River cleanup. If you are interested, please check Constant Contact. There it should be, I believe, a orange sign. Click on it, please, and volunteer. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this evening, online and here in the sanctuary. I love to see you, each and every one of you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Beverly. Yeah, so the LA River cleanup, there's a link on the Constant Contact. It's signed up through Eventbrite now. It's all very organized. And they have, you can either show up at 8 a.m. or 10:30. So register, you'll get the T-shirt. And it's broken down. You know, it's work. There's no doubt about it. But you know, and they haven't met for a couple of years, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of debris to move out. We've done it a few years. We've had a few-year layoff, but I like doing it. You know, you don't really connect with the LA River the way you do, say, the Sacramento River up in Sacramento or in other places in the state, because it's channeled. And before they channeled the LA River here in the valley, they used to have these horrible floods. And I mean, up until the 70s, when they developed what's out in the area of the Fallbrook Mall, even then they would have areas flood before they got Bell Creek and the other channels. So we're not really aware of the river in the same way. And there's also been an impact on that. So it turns out that the way that we have all these wonderful sand on our beaches is from our rivers. But now they're all in concrete, so they're not getting, that's why they're having to actually import sand now, as compared to the old days, like Redondo and Santa Monica, the beaches were much, much deeper and broader. But they're working on that. So that's part of this whole thing of recapturing water now for the local aquifer, is finding areas within the river to actually break through and create some more open places within the bottom of the channel so that we can capture more of that water. All of this to tie into what we've been focusing on with this book here, Sacred Earth, Sacred Soul, for this month from a Celtic perspective. And also just for myself personally, if you follow me on Facebook, so sometime around noon, anywhere from, depending on when I have Wi-Fi or when I'm up on the hill, I've been trying to get out and post things in nature from O'Melveny or Elysia Park up here in the North Ridge here. And it's quite verdant and beautiful, carpeted with lupin right now. And it's going to be an amazing spring and early summer. There'll probably be just tons of sunflowers this year. And there's something about getting out into nature and connecting with it that allows us to connect with the fact that we too, all of us, are connected in this. Many of us have grown up thinking that we're at the top of this pyramid, right? Because we're humans, and we've understandably lived in a very human centric way. And today, we know that we're part of a web of life, and we're becoming even more aware. It's a movement that's been happening for some time now, but I think we're becoming even more aware of it now. And so I just wanted to share with you a couple of poems from the Scottish poet. Hang on now, his first name's escaped me. Kenneth White. And he is one who spoke to man's natural connection with the earth in the 60s, when the ecological movement, if you remember Rachel Carson and Silent Spring, these things started coming to the fore back in those days. And so he writes, I must enter this birch world and speak from within it. I must enter into this lighted silence and wait for the words to come out of the silence, rooted and branched and running with sap. So close to the heart of White's vision of man and his connection with the earth was to allow our relationship with the earth to reshape how we live and how we speak. And this includes poetic speech, which he sees as the purest expression of language. Its origins are primal. They begin long before the advent of literature. In other words, the universe itself is the great poem, and we are invited to be part of the continuing expression of this poem in how we speak and live and relate. So another one of his observances is learning to pay attention to birdsong. And so he's written this poem entitled Crow Meditation. Everybody knows the sad, sweet tale of the nightingale. But when crow starts croaking, hard and hoarse, that's something else. Crow, I tell you, is one queer Joe. Crow is a ghost. He's a bird with a past. Crow is king of his own mind world, in which he's always croaking. Usually, nobody listens to Crow. But when one of your friends takes off for the ice lands and writes back in a letter about a weird crow encounter somewhere in the snowfields. And when a few days later, as you come through the door of a Montparnasse apartment, the first thing you set eyes on is a huge lump of crow whose croaking days are over. But he looks as if it knew a thing or two. And you begin to wonder, you find yourself asking what there is to crow. Why does crow crow? Where does crow go? What does crow know? All birds talk, dawn talk, in different lingos. And dawn talk, that language that emerges from the meeting of day and night, twilight, as we have seen, is sacred in the Celtic world. It is a time governed neither by the sun nor by the moon, but by the meeting of the two, the intertwining of night and day, known and unknown, conscious and unconscious. It is a time loved especially by birds who give voice to it in their different lingos, whether harsh or sweet, loud or soft, calling our attention to the luminal world and the meeting of the so-called opposites. I have studied the language of dawn, says White. It is free of the dualisms of sun and moon, darkness and light, dreaming and walking. By learning this language, he says, maybe we can move beyond the fixed categories of opposites that have dominated our Western world, of seen and unseen, spirit and matter. Maybe a space in which these notions are no longer contradictory. So, I'll leave you with that to consider as we move into our meditation, this idea of dawn talk, the time between day and night, and the place where birdsong can be experienced, either calling us to the new day or singing us into the evening. So let's just start by taking a deep conscious breath. And on the exhale, just allowing ourselves to get comfortable as we move into our meditation time now. And welcome. So, bringing our attention to the movement of the breath and the nostril. As we bring our attention to the movement of the breath in the nostril, we'll find the mind begins to still. Just do starting from the bottom of our feet, bringing our attention to our feet and the movement of the breath. Moving our attention up the leg. If we find any places where there is tension, just can take a deep breath. And on the exhale, you'll feel that release. Bring our attention to the exhale now. Tummy rising and falling easily. Again, free of tension. Into our sit bones. Up the spine. So a straight back but free of tension. Releasing the arms. So let's take a deep breath together. On the exhale, just allow the shoulders to drop, the neck to lengthen, taking a deep breath. And release. Following the exhale. Releasing the face. Breath and releasing as we move into the silence now for about 15 minutes. gently back into the room, staying with the breath. And visualize with me the spark of the divine in your heart center. And with each in-breath, we fan that spark. Fanning it to a flame. This flame growing with each in-breath. To a ball of fire enkindled by the divine itself within. With each in-breath allowing this fire, a fire that illuminates rather than consumes, to expand, contract with the ebb and flow of the breath. And as we know that the Spirit is everywhere present, we are breathing the light of the Spirit within, commingling with the Spirit within, releasing that which no longer is serving us on the exhale, breathing in light, exhaling love. So with each in-breath, this globe of light and love now extending beyond the body, torso, side to side, front to back, top to bottom, that we're now sitting in this field of light and love, the energy of the infinite Spirit. Staying with the breath. Allowing this light to expand, to commingle with our friends here in the sanctuary, knowing that the Spirit is not bound by time or space, even extending beyond this field, even beyond those joining us online. So within this field of light and love now, we bring our cares, concerns, challenges, aspirations, as we know together that there is but one power, one presence, one source, one life, one light. It is the energetic of the infinite Spirit, activated now at the very basic aspects of our being, that every atom, every molecule, every cell, every muscle, every organ, every bone, every sinew, all the various components of the biological body are now aligning with the indwelling pattern of perfection, releasing that which no longer serves, releasing that which is not an expression of this pattern of perfection, this expression of radiant good health. And we know for the biological body now that it is activated and aligned with this healing energetic of the living Spirit, that we take a deep breath and just release, knowing that our mind now is open to a divine impress that we are open and receptive to new and creative, dynamic ideas that have within it the solution to any seeming challenge or problem that we may be entangled with, that we are releasing it now, knowing that the Spirit just gently untangles it all, that we are now open and receptive to new creative ideas for a greater expression of our life and our career, within our families, within the various components of this expression of life. We know that we are capturing these ideas now in a level of awareness either now or later, perhaps even in the sleep cycle. We feel a sense of gratitude knowing that this is so. We take a deep breath and release. So now finally within the heart we feel an opening through this meditation service here tonight, that the heart center has been opened, that we are open and receptive to love and friendship and all of its various expressions, that we are open and receptive to being a little soft-hearted and more compassionate in the ways that we meet and show up in the world, that we know our relationships are intuitively guided to ways of deeper connection and expression of love and deep abiding, that it has within it deep respect and a sense of joy in this expression of the love of the divine expressing in, through, and as our life. So we take a deep breath and release that, knowing that in all of these various thought forms, images, and feelings, that we're releasing all of it to that aspect of the mind or the divine itself that knows only to say, yes, my beloved, yes. In you I am well pleased. That aspect of the divine that knows only to say yes as the law of its own being. And so we leave here tonight knowing that we have been shifted and lifted in ways of experiencing both our lives as individuals and our lives together in community in ways that are more affirming, with a sense of grace and power, creativity, harmony, peace, serenity, and love, that we leave here this evening, arriving home in safety and good order, that we make our way through the rest of this evening, finding our way to our beds. The head hits the pillow, we drift off easily and effortlessly to sleep, sleeping deeply, restfully, dreaming sweet dreams, that we awaken in the morning feeling fully rested, with a sense of vim and vigor and a zest for life, as we step joyfully into the new day to be. So one more deep breath. And again, just releasing all of that, knowing it is done, knowing it is so. Together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. So, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll get acquainted here in a moment. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for joining us online. If you'd like to experience more, you can join us at 10:30 as we live stream on Sunday morning. This Sunday also has our youth program. And yes, it is an Easter egg hunt on Palm Sunday, but that's okay. That's just the way that we're doing things for now. All right, so until then, peace and blessings. Know that you're loved, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.